Biblical texts describe a time lock on human life based on telomeres. Our time lock runs 120 years. Gnostic texts explain why that time lock was given. Not all of the Elohim agreed with it. Some wanted us to be full-on godlike beings. Others wanted us to have limited powers. Move away from religious texts and look at historic documents from Mesopotamia. The Babylonian creation story, the Sumerian texts tell a very similar story without the religion. In place of Elohim, they have words like Anunnaki and the biblical texts of Nephilim. Different stories with essentially the same theme. We're not from around here. We are a hybrid form of life given the potential of extraordinary abilities when we accept the responsibility that comes with having those abilities. As we accept and become what could be called our divine potential, as we embrace that in our lives, the acceptance is chemically what opens those potentials in our lives and in our bodies. Then we begin to age differently. We begin to metabolize differently. We begin to think differently. We intuit differently. All of these shifts happening now to some people. Some are resisting, but the conditions of the world are forcing change. On a cyclic basis beginning in the center of our universe, there is a volley of information in the form of cosmic rays that appear every 12 to 13,000 years. That volley of information perturbs, disturbs the core of our planet and sends us into shifts that force us to change the way we think and the way we live. We've got a cosmological clock driving geophysical processes under our feet that directly link to consciousness and biology. They're intimately linked together. We have a lot of help. We're all at the precipice of a doorway opening in front of us. Whether we choose to accept our potential and step through that doorway is a personal choice. This is where the suffering comes from. Resisting our power. That is where the suffering comes from. We're barreling down the path of a cyclic event that drives the kinds of shifts and paradigm shifts that forever change the world and life in the world. We're within the window of time geologically when these cycles have occurred in the past. Cosmologically, we're within the window of time. Looking socially and politically at the world, we can see that unsustainable systems are buckling and collapsing. We're moving towards some kind of new paradigm. We don't want that new world based on the hurt and suffering and atrocities we've all seen in our lifetimes in the 20th and now the 21st centuries. The way to transcend that, we are not what we have been told and we are so much more. We're more than we have probably even dared to allow ourselves to think about our own being. As we embrace not even the whole picture, just embrace a little of that, it shifts that trajectory away from a future of suffering and war into an uncharted future based upon the way we are learning to think about ourselves. If you're finding this valuable, please take a moment to subscribe. We're exploring concepts that challenge fundamental assumptions about human nature and potential, and your support helps us reach more people who need to hear this. Just hit that button and turn on notifications. Now back to what we truly are. All the tech, AI, nuclear weapons, genetic engineering, CRISPR, whatever it is, it's just tech. It's neither good nor bad, right nor wrong. It's the thinking underlying how it's used. As we embrace the deep truth of who we are as a society and individuals, that will be reflected in the choices we make with that technology. That's how you build a new world. What is the extent of our majesty and our capacity and our divinity? The evidence suggests we are a hybrid species. Texts that were left out describe the creation of the first human by the Elohim. It wasn't a one-off. They had multiple iterations of failures before they achieved the chemical code that would hold the light of a human soul in the physical body. We are this hybrid where we have godlike powers that were given to us by a higher intelligence. For the first time, those powers are imbued into a physicality that allows things that were never allowed before. Sensuality in the world and the physicality of the world. We're in uncharted territory in terms of how we embrace those powers in our lives. It's about transforming ourselves and transforming the world by embracing the deep truth of who we are. In Hebrew gematria, two different words that look very different, if they have the same number, they're talking about the same thing. Heaven and soul in Hebrew gematria, two different words with the same number. They're talking about the same thing. This works in Arabic, exactly the same thing. As different as cultures believe they are from one another, we need look no further than the DNA in every cell of our bodies to say that the message is exactly the same. The root languages, Hebrew, Arabic, Sanskrit, and others, were derived from the relationship between light and the most stable form we have, the pyramid. There are languages that were probably part of this that have been lost in the past. We've got 23 languages right now on planet Earth that have been discovered, and we have no idea what they say. They have never been deciphered. AI is helping with some of those. What do those languages tell us about our past and our relationship to the world that is meaningful today? Gnostic texts talk about how humanity is basically angels that forgot we were angels. In the historic documents of Mesopotamia, the Akkadian text, Babylonian, Sumerian, all inform. What they say is that we are a hybrid alien or Anunnaki blood. The texts actually say that one of their kind was sacrificed to take their body and mix it with earthly materials to become who we are. We are a hybrid. Please, if this is resonating with you, subscribe now. We're building something here that explores the deepest questions about human origin and potential, and knowing you're engaged keeps us going. Just hit that button. Now let's bring this together. What's important is to look at the themes. All of them say that we're more than we've been told. We're more than we've been led to believe. We were imbued by a greater intelligence with extraordinary potentials that we are only beginning to understand. Those potentials are available to us if we are willing to accept them, if we're willing to accept the responsibility of living in the way that those potentials allow us. We are more than we are led to believe. We have a future that is continually evolving, but we have choices along the way to align to that reality or to stick with a reality that's more base. We are at a crossroad where we have to move into a future if we're going to keep this world and the life that we have known in the past. There's a bifurcation happening in society. Two parallel societies are emerging right now. One aspect is all in on all of the tech in the world and in their bodies. Another one is going back to a simpler way of life, going back to the basics, but opening the door to deeper potentials within themselves. Ultimately, we'll find a middle ground. We will accept technology in the world and allow us to develop our own inner technology, our own soft technology of consciousness. The conditions of the world are driving us to do that now sooner rather than later. There is a cosmic clock. What could be called a sense of graceful urgency. Graceful in the sense that we have the time we need to accept the truth of who we are and live our lives differently. Urgent in the sense that if we're going to do it, now is the time. The hardest thing is to break the programming. Looking for the code within human DNA requires crossing traditional boundaries. If you're only a geneticist, you'd be looking only at DNA. If you're only a linguist studying ancient cultures, you'd never find it. If you're only a chemist looking at the stuff we're made of on the periodic table, you'd never find it. You've got to cross those traditional boundaries. The only way to answer these questions is to be honest, truthful, factual, and kind. This is a calling. This is what makes the soul sing. The last day on earth, if you left this world and didn't share what you have found, would you feel complete within yourself? If the answer is no, then you know where that path is leading. It's important to take the information directly to our community because the timeline is so brief. We're in this shift. The only way out of it is to go through it. Your choices now determine which reality emerges from this cosmic crossroads.